It's now time to speak to Mukul Deoras on how he beat out 99 other brands. And mind you, history has now been created as this is the first time a Colgate India CEO is doing a television interview.
Yes, it's a great pleasure to be on the screen and with you.
What do you think you did differently, in 2010 that made you the number one position in our most trusted brand survey?
I think the hallmark of Colgate is that we just do consistently what we believe strongly in. Focus on oral health, and we have increased and stepped up our pace of innovation in 2010. And all of this put together has actually made a big difference to brand Colgate.
Critics of Colgate believe that you haven't taken as much advantage of your position as you should have, because you have not been leaders of innovation and you have only reacted when compelled and never been the first mover. Would you be in agreement with that statement?
I'm not in agreement with that at all.
Okay.
We are careful in what we bring to the market. We don't want to innovate for the sake of innovation. We want to innovate on things which are really insightful and which are focused on a real consumer need. And otherwise, innovations come and innovations go away, and we are left with another round of failures.
Right.
So we are careful in innovating, but we are focused on the real needs of the consumer.
You talked about changing consumers and changing habits of consumers. What are some of the key learnings you've seen, as an industry veteran and an FMCG veteran?
So if you see, India is an extremely large country, but what is remarkable about India is that almost 40% of Indian consumers do not use a toothpaste. But to me, one of the remarkable things about Indian market is that while the income distribution is like a pyramid, but the demand distribution is not like a pyramid. It's more like an hourglass, where the top of the market is just as important as the bottom of the market.
Talking about your communication style, Colgate, has had very formulaic advertising for years now. Why is it that you are so hesitant to have any kind of new thought or new innovation in your kind of communication?
We have a typical Colgate dental cream advertising, which is all about a mother, a child, a dentist, and the good values of good oral care. It's very consistent, very solid, very stable, and probably that is what you refer to as formulaic, but it has evolved over a period of time.
Sure.
Now, you have that, and contrast that with, let's say, a Colgate Max Fresh advertising.
Colgate Max Fresh is bursting with unique cooling crystal,
which is all about youth, it is all about freshness, exuberance, that energy, and it's very different. If you remove the brand name Colgate, you will see that there is a difference between all of these, and yet there is a thought. There is an essence that goes right across all of these, and the essence is all about good oral health and good oral care.
Right. In a category like oral care, where your usage of products is really limited to, let's say, twice a day on an average, how do you look at increasing usage and increasing consumption?
Well, the opportunity for increasing consumption in India is enormous.
Okay.
Right? We are probably one of the lowest per capita consumption country in the world. So we are nowhere near saturation. As I said earlier, almost 40% of the population does not use a toothpaste. So that really shows almost 500 million people are not using toothpaste in this country. Well, let's talk about those who are at least brushing. Okay? Now, how do you go about increasing consumption? Now, there are certain markets in the world where people brush their teeth 3, 4, 5 times a day. How do you achieve that? You achieve that by raising oral care consciousness, and you achieve that by making people aware that looking after their teeth is not only good hygiene and good health, it's good grooming.
Right.
Yeah. Now, this change doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually and over a period of time. There's a large amount of activities that we do which may be not getting noticed because it's not on mass media. For example, in a couple of places, we started an experiment of nighttime newspaper. And the newspaper that is delivered at home at night, And that talks about why before going to bed you should brush your teeth. In many places we are doing night alarms, night news capsules, where we're talking to people about why brushing teeth at night is so important. So these are small things, small steps, but definite steps that we are taking to drive consumption. Today, the claimed average frequency of brushing is 1.1.
Okay.
Claimed. Okay. It might be just about 1 for all you know.
What do you foresee as the challenges for Colgate going forward?
I think the biggest challenge for us is do we really understand the oral care needs of an Indian consumer, which could be different from the oral care needs of the rest of the world. Our diet is different. Our oral care habits are different. The way we look after our teeth are different. Give you a very simple example. The moment we get up, we brush our teeth.
Right.
Before we eat or drink anything.
Right.
Most part of the world, people first eat and drink and then clean their teeth. So cleaning of teeth is like removal of bad things for them. For us, it's like purification. That's a different habit. We have a lot of rinsing habit, which doesn't exist in the rest of the world. And therefore, we need to find technology, but interpret that in a very local nuance. And if you miss this, we will lose the game.
Right. Thank you very much, Mukul, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was indeed a pleasure to talk to you today.
That was the Colgate CEO, Mukul Deoras, on being the most trusted brand in India. And not to forget that Colgate has asked the 3-time winner Nokia to get to the first place. We're going to slip into a break, but up next we're going straight to the headquarters of Airtel to have a candid chat with the CEO, Sanjay Kapoor, on how it's managed to jump from number 129 to 3 on the Trust Index this year.